What's up, retro fans? This is Leon Levi, and today we're diving into Crimson Desert, the next-gen open-world action RPG that's shaping up to be one of the most insane gaming experiences of 2026. I've been following this game for a while now, and let me tell you, it's not just another sword and shield fantasy. This game is packed with mechanics that blend brutal combat, wild transversal options, and deep world interactions. This game is changing how open-world RPGs feel. In this video, let's discuss the 10 insane gameplay mechanics in Crimson Desert that change everything. No level scaling, pure skill combat. The first thing that completely changes how you play is that Crimson Desert doesn't rely on level scaling at all. Enemies don't magically match your level, so if you wander into a high-level area under-geared, you're going to get flattened, and that instantly makes the world feel more dangerous and grounded. Combat itself is skill-based and super flexible. You can lean into archery, stealth, grappling, perfect parries, or just brute force melee, and the game lets you commit to that instead of forcing a meta build. Timing and reading enemy animations really matter, because well-timed guards and dodges open them up for big counterattacks that feel insanely satisfying when you pull them off. It's more like an action game with RPG depth than a traditional stat check RPG, and that alone changes how you approach every single fight. WWE-style grapples, suplexes, and brawling. The second mechanic is how wild the close quarters combat gets. You're not just doing basic light and heavy attacks. You can grab enemies, suplex them, kick them down, and chain all of that into combos. It honestly feels like someone slipped wrestling moves into a medieval fantasy game, and it somehow works. You can mix hand-to-hand strikes, kicks, grapples, and weapon attacks into one flowing sequence, so fights look messy and cinematic in the best way possible. The animations are weighty, enemies stagger properly, and you can even disarm opponents or throw them into hazards like fires or breakable structures around you. That physical, almost brawler style of combat makes every encounter feel like a set piece, even if it's just a random camp skirmish. Weapon variety with elemental power-ups. Third, the weapon system is way deeper than just sword good, bigger sword better. You've got swords and shields, spears, greatswords, axes, and ranged weapons, and each one pushes you toward a completely different combat style and tactics. You're encouraged to swap and experiment because certain movesets just work better against specific enemy types and situations. On top of that, you can enhance weapons with elemental effects like fire and ice to change how they behave in battle. Suddenly, you're not just swinging a blade, you're setting enemies on fire, freezing them, or using elements to control space and tempo in a fight. Focused, combo-rich action controls. The fourth mechanic is how the controls push you into doing stylish combos without needing a 200-page move list. For example, with a sword, you can mash out simple slashes, but if you start pressing two face buttons together, your character lunges with a focused thrust. Then, if you hit light and heavy attacks at the same time, it smoothly transitions into a magic-infused overhead slam that feels like a finisher. There's also this magic palms system, where clicking each stick triggers spells from each hand, and you can chain those into things like triple jumps powered by your magic. That means mobility and damage are baked into the same input language, and your moves naturally escalate from basic to flashy without feeling complicated. Next-gen Traversal. Grappling, climbing, gliding, mounts, mechs, and dragons. Number 5 is the Traversal, and this is where Crimson Desert really screams next-gen. You're not just walking or riding a horse. You've got a grappling tool that lets you pull yourself around almost like a fantasy Spider-Man, bouncing between structures and closing gaps in combat or exploration. You can free climb ruins, buildings, and mountains, and it gives serious Assassin's Creed-style parkour vibes in a more physics-heavy, grounded world. On top of that, you get gliding, multiple mounts, late-game access to mechs with missiles, and even dragons you can ride. These aren't just cosmetic flexes either. They actually change where you can go, how to approach enemy camps, and how you explore vertical spaces. Grand-scale sieges and dynamic battlefield systems. So, the sixth mechanic is the large-scale battles, which feel closer to a playable war movie than a simple boss encounter. You're thrown into sieges with siege engines like catapults and battling rams, and you can actually interact with them during the fight instead of just watching cutscenes. Structures can be destroyed, towers can be set on fire, and the whole battlefield reacts to what's happening. Weather and terrain also play a role. Rain-soaked mud can slow cavalry, flaming arrows can set siege towers ablaze, and that forces you to adapt in real time instead of just spamming your strongest combo. The best part is that the game blends these cinematic war moments seamlessly with your personal combat, so you never feel detached from the chaos. You're right in the middle, making tactical decisions as everything burns around you. The Abyss. Fragments that rewrite the rules. Number 7 is the Abyss system, and this is where things get really weird in a good way. The Abyss isn't just some endgame dungeon. It's a core gameplay system tied directly into the world. Fragments from the Abyss fall into the world and affect your abilities, your progression, fast travel, and even enemy behavior. That means you're not just leveling up in a straight line. You're collecting and interacting with this strange, dark energy that can reshape how you move and fight. There are Abyss artifacts and upgrades that can tweak skills, giving you more creative ways to approach bosses and tough zones. It feels more like bending the rules of a game instead of just stacking stats, which is a huge step up from the traditional +5 damage style progression. Kingdom and base building with real strategy. The 8th mechanic flips things from pure combat into strategy. Kingdom and base building. Crimson Desert lets you construct and manage structures like farms for food, mines for resources, barracks for training units, and trade markets, turning your territory into a living, evolving space instead of just a menu screen. Placement actually matters. For example, building farms near water boosts their yield, and putting defensive structures on high ground gives you better tactical advantages. You're constantly balancing key resources like food, wood, stone, and gold, and trade routes connect your kingdom to others for both economic and diplomatic interactions. Population management comes into play too, since your people are both workers and potential soldiers, and research trees let you unlock new technologies and upgrades for your buildings. Life skills that actually matter for combat. The 9th mechanic is how life skills are integrated into the core gameplay loop instead of being a throwaway side content. Things like fishing, mining, and cooking are confirmed to directly feed into your combat readiness and survival. You're not just fishing for fun. You're getting resources that become food, potions, or crafting materials that genuinely affect how well you handle tough encounters. You can gather materials from the world, cook to create buffs, and prep before heading into dangerous regions or boss fights, almost like doing your own little pre-raid setup, because loot and progression lean more on exploration and crafting rather than randomized stat rolls. These life skills feel like part of your build, not an optional minigame. That makes downtime between battles feel meaningful, instead of like filler. Sandbox freedom with multiple playable characters. The last mechanic is the overall sandbox freedom and how it ties into characters and world systems. Crimson Desert is a single-player, open-world action game, not an MMO, but it's built around giving you freedom in how you approach almost everything. Combat, exploration, progression, and even how you interact with factions and territory. Your actions can influence who controls certain regions and how stable the world feels, which makes your choices carry more weight than just good or bad ending. On top of the main protagonist, Kliff, there are additional playable characters that you can use, and you can recruit Grey Mane allies as part of building up your camp or base. That combination of multiple characters, recruitable allies, open-ended exploration, treasure hunting, and taking back land and fortresses makes the whole game feel like a big, reactive sandbox instead of a strictly on-rails story. So yeah, Crimson Desert is more like a giant sandbox where combat, traversal, base building, and even weird abyss powers all talk to each other. If you enjoyed this breakdown of 10 insane mechanics, hit that like button and comment your thoughts below. Subscribe to the channel for more retro fun, and as always, thanks for watching.